Or ABC 10 News at 5 starts right now.
The CDC is sharing a pivotal discovery on COVID-19 breakthrough infections that led to new mask guidance. Plus, an eviction moratorium for renters is on track to expire tomorrow night. Why people across California can still avoid eviction despite the looming end. Plus,
they might just be using that as a way to earn your trust.
From illegal threats by debt collectors to fraudsters posing as potential sweethearts, the recent increase in scams targeting service members.
ABC 10 News at 5 starts now.
as concerns grow over the increasing number of COVID-19 cases across the country, a troubling internal report from the CDC is portraying the Delta variant as a serious threat. Good evening, I'm Lindsay Pena.
And I'm Steve Atkinson. The CDC says that vaccinated people can spread the virus just as easily as unvaccinated people. As ABC's Rena Roy explains, the fight against coronavirus is dramatically changing.
New insight into the mysterious and dangerous Delta variant tearing through the United States. In an internal report obtained by ABC News, the CDC warning the war has changed because the variant almost acts like a different virus, more transmissible than the common cold, as contagious as chickenpox.
And that some vaccinated people may transmit it as easily as the unvaccinated.
While this variant may be extremely transmissible and probably more deadly, the vaccines are still working really, really well.
The agency saying a massive outbreak in Provincetown, Massachusetts, helped lead to the new recommendation that even fully vaccinated people should wear masks indoors in areas hit hard by COVID. 469 people testing positive after traveling to the New England town over a 2-week period this month. 74% of them were vaccinated, and Delta is largely to blame.
We're partying, like I said, partying like it's 2019 and pretending like the pandemic never happened. Even though people are testing positive, we're not seeing a lot of serious illness.
State officials now requiring fully vaxxed people with underlying issues to mask up indoors. A surge in cases in nearly every state, some hospitals overwhelmed. Most patients don't have their shots.
If we have to go back to putting on our masks, that's what we need to do.
But still, some are fighting new mask mandates.
I have to go back to that. But I mean, if I have to, I have to, but I would prefer not to.
But the good news is it seems people are listening to those calls to get their shots. More than 190 million in this country have now had at least one dose, with 2.7 million Americans getting newly vaccinated this past week alone. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
And these are the latest numbers on coronavirus in San Diego County. Today, almost 1,300 new cases were reported. That is the highest daily number of cases since early February, but there were no new deaths.
And it appears the majority of surveyed San Diegans would support employers' rights to require vaccinations regardless of a mandate. According to the latest Scientific 10 News Union Tribune poll, 53% say they should, 33% say they shouldn't, and 14% aren't sure. This week, government agencies started following each other in mandating employees get COVID vaccinations or go through frequent testing. And now major employers are following suit. ABC 10 News reporter Mimi Okala is live. And Mimi, experts say the list of employers will continue to grow.
Hi, Lindsay. Yeah, a legal analyst I spoke to tells me incentives and encouragement aren't working too well, and he expects a lot of businesses to do what the county did and start requiring those vaccines as well.
The carrot isn't working. It's time for the stick, because we have got to get out of this nightmare we've been living through for the last year and a half.
The County of San Diego announced Thursday that by mid-August, it'll begin requiring county employees to verify COVID-19 vaccination or undergo regular testing. The same applies for state and federal workers, including tens of thousands here in San Diego. Companies like Disney, Walmart, Google, and Facebook have also put certain vaccination mandates in place, which raises the question, can employers legally require workers to be vaccinated?
Employers are allowed to mandate vaccination subject to exceptions for religious objections and medical conditions and disabilities.
Legal analyst Dan Eaton says even where those exceptions apply, employers have to find a way to keep the workplace safe, like requiring unvaccinated employees to undergo regular mandatory testing for COVID, plus social distancing and masking. He says right now, more legal authorities, including the Department of Justice, are weighing in because the vaccines currently only have emergency use authorization from the FDA, not full approval.
They are saying that, look, this emergency use authorization is not an obstacle to private employers mandating vaccination. So you're going to see more and more employers mandating vaccination as these legal uncertainties recede.
Still, he expects to see a lot of pushback in court, not only in the coming months, but for years to follow.
The one thing you can guarantee in California is that if you have a mandate, whether it's imposed by the government or it's imposed by an employer, you are going to have a lawsuit.
And Eaton says businesses like restaurants, clothing stores can also require their customers to be vaccinated. We're live from the County Operations Center. Mimi Alcala, ABC 10 News.
Mimi, thank you. Less than 2 weeks after welcoming students back to campus, the Sweetwater Union High School District is now reporting nearly 4 dozen COVID cases. It says 47 people tested positive out of 40,000 district students and staff. The district says it does have protocols in place that align with CDC state and local guidance. Hospitals across the county, they are gearing up for a surge in new patients now that cases are on the rise once again. At all of the hospitals that are part of Scripps Health, providers are now seeing a greater volume of COVID positive patients. The hospitals are bringing back negative pressure rooms to keep air contained and decrease potential spread of infection.
We're up to 84 patients in-house at Scripps. 14 of those are in the intensive care unit. And then we have between a 12 and 17% rate of patients who have been vaccinated who are also being admitted.
Surge planning is also happening at other local hospitals. Sharp Healthcare told us they are reviewing surge capacity and staffing levels. Officials at Kaiser told us they have retained expanded capabilities in case of a surge.
Democrats in Washington are fighting to extend a federal ban on evictions. But if they're unsuccessful, legal experts say Californians don't have to worry just yet. I spoke to an attorney specializing in tenant law to find out what people should know. A federal eviction ban is set to expire Saturday unless Congress acts to extend it. But here in California, it doesn't really matter.
We have both a statewide moratorium that extends protections for tenants and is actually overreaching compared to the CDC eviction moratorium.
Erin Rounds is the lead attorney with Tenants Legal Center in San Diego. She says in addition to the state moratorium, which is in effect until October 1st, there are further protections within the county.
Within San Diego County, unless you have a non-payment of rent and have not provided a declaration of hardship, or you pose a health and safety risk, your landlord is prohibited from even serving you with any type of notice.
But the county ban is set to expire August 14th, and Rounds says that will open the door for some evictions to proceed.
I think evictions are going to be starting back up after August 15, and I think they're going to be proceeding as they were prior to June 3rd, but they might look a little bit different in terms of what cases can proceed, what cases can't proceed.
She says the bottom line during these rapidly changing times is to contact a legal expert.
It's very important, especially when even on our end, we don't quite know what's going on, that you contact an attorney and we can, to the best of our ability, tell you what you should be doing next.
It is unclear at this point whether San Diego County will extend its ban on evictions.
After more than a year, the San Diego Convention Center will host its first event this weekend. There were cheers this morning when the doors reopened. Over the course of the pandemic, the city did lose about $2 billion in revenue when 150 events had to be canceled. 30 events are scheduled between now and the end of the year, including another version of Comic-Con.
We are more than ready to join the list of the many conventions planned for this year as we prepare to launch Comic-Con Special Edition November 26th, 27th, and 28th. It will be good to be back at our home away from home again.
There are protocols in place to keep people safe. Employees must wear masks regardless of their vaccination status, and until October 1st, people attending indoor gatherings of more than 5,000 people will need to be fully vaccinated or have a negative COVID result within 72 hours of the event.
There has been a recent increase in scams targeting service members.
Yes, today's sailors at Naval Base San Diego discussed that issue with Attorney General Rob Bonta. ABC 10 News reporter Rena Nakano explains what to look for to avoid becoming a victim of a scam.
The California Attorney General in San Diego today to listen to personal stories about victimization, something he says happens far too often to military personnel.
I'm a former military, I'm current military. You can trust me, I'm part of the family.
A great deal on your dream car, but before you sign, Attorney General Rob Bonta says make sure you're dealing with a reputable party.
They might not be endorsed by the armed forces, they might just be using that as a way to earn your trust.
Too often, he says that trust turns into astronomical interest rates. You're now a victim of an affinity scam and predatory auto sales. Other popular scams targeting military include illegal threats made by debt collectors who lie and say they can revoke security clearances or call your command for upfront cash. Rental housing scams where scammers collect on down payments on fake properties. And sweetheart scams where someone professes their love to you online only to ask for money.
To meet that individual, which is a false identity, they click on links and money is taken from them.
Bonta says military members get targeted because they're often on the move with little time to check the fine print, and they're young.
Often many of them don't have a lot of financial experience yet in their young lives, and they're promised the world and taken advantage of.
All branches are offering courses by financial experts on how to avoid scams so they never become victims again.
We want them to know that this is not their fault, that they are the victim, and they are deserving of support and services to fight for you, and that's what we'll do.
Rhiannon Nakano, ABC 10 News.
Tomorrow is the deadline for Republican recall election candidates to meet the threshold to be considered for an endorsement from the state party. 200 delegates are needed for the eligibility. The latest data shows former San Diego Mayor Kevin Faulconer, radio host Larry Elder, and Assemblyman Kevin Kiley, they have reached the mark. But candidates such as San Diego businessman John Cox, they have not, and he's been critical of the party getting involved in the recall. The party is defending the process.
If the Republican Party is endorsing, picking one candidate over, a bunch of others, that is going to maybe disappoint some people and distract them from voting yes on the recall.
The process as it now exists is fair, it's transparent, and it takes into account the opinions and beliefs of delegates from all four corners of the state representing our party.
The endorsement vote is August 7. A candidate needs to get 60% of the vote, otherwise the party will not endorse anyone. The endorsed candidate would be back with campaign cash and other party resources.
New evidence has emerged on how former President Donald Trump pressured the Department of Justice to declare the 2020 election as corrupt. That's according to notes from a senior DOJ official during a December 2020 call Trump held with Attorney General Jeffrey Rosen and Deputy Attorney General Richard Donahue. Those notes show Rosen telling Trump the DOJ can't and won't snap its fingers and change the outcome of the election. Trump allegedly responded that he didn't expect the DOJ to change the outcome. In the notes, Trump is reported as saying, quote, just say the election was corrupt and leave the rest to me and the Republican congressman. The Treasury Department must hand over former President Trump's tax returns to a House committee. That's according to a new Justice Department ruling. The House Ways and Means Committee first requested those records 2 years ago. During the Trump administration, then Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin said he wouldn't turn over the tax returns. That's because he thought they were being requested for partisan reasons. An attorney for the former president has not commented on the case.